besties. Gather around because I'm about to tell you the most absolutely cursed work story that still gives me nightmares. Like, this is why I have trust issues with random house calls now. I just started working at this tiny plumbing company with like 5 employees total. I'm the new guy, right? So obviously I get stuck with all the basic jobs. Easy stuff. Or so I thought. My boss hands me this work order. Fix a leaky kitchen sink. Literally the most basic plumbing job ever. Should take like an hour max. Unless something goes completely sideways. Spoiler alert. Everything went sideways and upside down. I drive out to this address in this old neighborhood where all the streets look like they haven't been repaved since the dinosaurs roamed the earth. The whole vibe was giving horror movie opening scene, but your boy needed those coins, so I pressed forward. When I pull up to this house, I literally sat in my truck for a full minute questioning my life choices. This place looked like it had been abandoned since before TikTok existed. Windows all boarded up with random pieces of wood, paint peeling off like the house had some kind of skin condition, and weeds so overgrown they probably had their own ecosystem. But I'm thinking, okay, maybe someone just bought this fixer-upper, and they're living in it while renovating. People do that, right? Wrong. So incredibly wrong. I walk up to the door, knock once, and this middle-aged man opens it. Y'all, when I tell you this man's energy was absolutely rancid from the first second. He had this smile that was trying way too hard to be friendly, but instead looked like someone had stretched his face with Photoshop. But here's where it gets really weird, his voice. This grown man had the highest, most feminine voice I've ever heard. Like, if you closed your eyes, you'd think you were talking to a whole different person. The disconnect between his creepy face and his voice made my brain glitch. He invites me inside, and I step into what can only be described as a liminal space. Completely empty. No furniture, no decorations, no signs that anyone actually lived there. Just dust and existential dread. We get to the kitchen, and I'm setting up my tools thinking this will be quick and easy. I crawl under the sink to check the pipes, and that's when things got uncomfortable. This man positions himself directly over me with his legs spread wide like he's trying to trap me under there. I'm like, hey, can you give me some space, please? And he barely moves. Just shuffles like 2 inches. The audacity was astronomical. So I try to test the water, and nothing comes out. Absolutely nothing. I ask him about it, and he goes, oh, I think I accidentally turned off the main water valve and forgot. With this little giggle that sounded like a malfunctioning robot trying to laugh. Now, bestie, I've been plumbing long enough to know that you don't just accidentally turn off your main water valve. That's like accidentally unplugging your refrigerator. It doesn't just happen. He says he'll go turn it back on and heads upstairs. Here's the thing though, main water valves are never upstairs. They're usually in the basement or outside by the street. This man was either completely clueless or lying through his teeth. That's when I start hearing multiple sets of footsteps coming down the stairs. Not just his footsteps, like a whole group of people running down fast and chaotic. I'm standing there with my wrench thinking, what in the actual horror movie is happening right now? Everything about this situation was screaming danger. The fake smile, the weird voice, the empty house, the mysterious footsteps. And now I'm realizing this might not even be a real service call. The footsteps are getting closer and louder, and I made the executive decision that my life was worth more than fixing some pipes. I grabbed my tools, booked it to the door, and sprinted to my truck like I was being chased by demons. On the drive back, I called my boss and tried to explain without sounding completely insane. I told him it seemed like a prank or kids messing around, but internally, I was having a full panic attack. Later, because I'm apparently a glutton for punishment, I decided to investigate. Turns out the house was completely abandoned. Nobody lived there. The phone number our company got the call from? Fake. A whole VoIP number that doesn't even exist. Someone went through the trouble of finding our company, calling with a fake number, giving us the address of an abandoned house, and then somehow got inside to wait for whoever showed up. That's not a prank, bestie. That's a whole psychological thriller setup. I reported everything to the police because this felt like the beginning of a true crime documentary where I would have been the victim. They said they'd check it out, but honestly, I never found out what happened next because I was too scared to follow up. The moral of the story? Trust your gut. When something feels wrong, it probably is wrong. And sometimes, the real horror isn't supernatural. It's just regular humans being absolutely unhinged. Drop a like if you think I made the right choice running, and comment below if you've ever had a work situation that felt like a setup, because apparently we're all living in a horror movie, and nobody told us.